Hi guys, this is Carolina Varsity 2015. We're going into week 9. We're going to take a look at the Big South and the playoffs. And I'm going to run down, I'm Dale Ross.
And I'm Jeff Miller.
And I'm going to just run down the standings as they currently are in the Big South overall. South Point at 5-2 in 3-0 in conference is in first. Forest View is also tied for them at 3-0. They're 4-3 overall. East Gaston is 2-1 in conference, and they are 4-3 overall. Huss at 1-2 in conference and 2-5 overall. North Gaston 1-2, 3-4 overall. Ashbrook at 1-2, 3-4 overall. Stuart Kramer's at 1-2, 4-3 overall. And Lake Norman Charters at 0-3, 2-4 overall. So we got South Point's got 5 wins. We've got Forest View, East Gaston, and Stuart Kramer all at 4 wins. So we're kind of looking at teams needing to get the 5 wins to make the playoffs unseeded or just to make their entry in. What do we think about? So we've got South Point, Forest View, East Gaston, North Gaston, and Ashbrook all in the 3A
Yes.
half. And so let's just take a look there and who do we think is going to maybe get the 1 and 2s out of there?
The 1 and 2s. Well, if you're asking me who I think will make the playoffs from the Big South, right now I'd say South Point, Forest View, and East Gaston pretty much are locked to get in based on who they have left on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And North Gaston, Ashbrook, I still say have a shot to get in. They both need 2 more wins to get in. And North Gaston has Stuart Kramer this coming Friday, and then Lake Norman Charter in the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
And Ashbrook, they got East Gaston and Forest View at home, then travel Charter and Huss. And Ashbrook, being the Jekyll and Hyde they are, they're usually tough to play at home, but this year they've had home field disadvantage, but if there is such a thing. And as for the 2A, I still say it comes down to Hunter Huss and Kramer. Actually, I know it comes down to those 2, and I still give Huss the upper hand based on their non-conference schedule play. Huss is more battle-tested than Stuart Kramer, but it could still be a good ball game between those 2. I mean, this is kind of a mixed-up conference,
right?
Wouldn't surprise me, as crazy it sounds, if everybody or all but one gets in.
Of those 3.
Or it could be the entire conference.
So we've got some of the teams like Lake Norman Charter and Huss with only 2 wins so far.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to pretty much win out, I would think, to get into the playoffs. Of course, those 2, I say that, and then I realize they're in the 2A half of the conference, right? So
that's the weaker half of the conference. No offense to the teams in it, but if Huss can sweep Stuart Kramer and Lake Norman Charter, they're in.
yeah, so that would put them in. That would put them as a top finisher in the 2A half of the conference. So they would definitely be in. Exactly. That's the thing about split conferences, which I do not like.
Me neither.
I'm not a fan of split conferences. NCHSAA, get rid of them. You need to. I guess so. Back up in the 3A, the battle for what right now looks like the number 1 seed there would be between South Point and Forest View.
And that'll be settled this coming Friday as South Point travels to Forest View. So, and Forest View this past Friday, I think, played their most complete game of the season. against North Gaston. The offense was playing great, and defense, except for the first drive, was clicking, and they were also forcing some turnovers. So if they can take that momentum to Joe Alala Stadium against a really dangerous South Point team, they have a chance to get one step closer to repeating as conference champs. But it's tough against those Red
Yep.
Raiders.
So what we'll do is later this week we'll have the North Carolina High School football report will be out. We have games to play Monday night, and then after those games, so by Wednesday we'll have the report out, and it can maybe make a little bit more sense of this mess of a conference of being split and a lot of similar records as we get down past South Point, Forest View, and East Gaston. We got a lot of 1 and 2 teams there, so maybe the report can help make a little bit better sense of what's going on. And then as we go into week 10, we'll take another look at this and see how teams are looking. Thanks for watching.